Loud. All right, everybody. Hey, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday, September 27th, maybe. It is a fun day. I went out and helped a new friend, a new apiary friend, bee guy, with 13 of his hives today. And a couple of them were a little mean. They were a little mean, little grumpy. I have to get bee gloves as opposed to A gloves or C gloves. I got to get bee gloves. And right, like Jose or Jose B. So yeah, this hand's a little swollen. Can you tell? I ain't got no knuckles on this hand. But have you heard of bee therapy? Bee sting therapy? Everybody's heard of bee sting therapy. I got bees and I didn't hear of bee sting therapy. So, all right, tonight the conversation is we've got Mr. Scott Schilling here. We're going to have a little dialogue on some sales. Before we do that, I wanted to just read the first sentence of this, or the first couple of sentences of this book, right? Napoleon Hill's Master Course. Definite major purpose, chapter 1. You want to know what it says? You want to know what it says? The first premise of the definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. This is the first premise. Because it is the starting point for all achievements. A definite purpose must be accompanied by a definite plan for implementation, followed by appropriate action. You have to have a purpose, you have to have a plan, and you have to start putting the plan into action. It's not too important that your plan be sound, because if you find out that you've adopted a plan that's not sound, you can always modify it. That's the first chapter, first paragraph of the first chapter of the Master Course. Now, why do I say that? Because what's the plan? What is your number one plan? Somebody can type it in the chat. Somebody can. Your number one plan is to sell stuff, right? You got to sell stuff, period. You got to sell an idea, maybe not income. You got to sell a mindset, maybe not an income. You got to sell a product, that's an income. You got to sell a belief. That's probably not an income, but all of it is what I call your mental profits. Your thoughts create your income, period, end of story. So that being said, if I were to ask you today, what did you sell? What did you sell? What did you sell today? Huh? Who sold something today? What'd you sell? Go ahead, Jane. What'd you sell?
I sold shampoo, and I'm signing up a new consultant tonight after we're done. And hopefully I sold someone on another opportunity. So I had a great day. I did.
Outstanding. So question for you. I know the company calls them consultants.
Yeah.
Have you, that's okay. It's good. Have you asked the person that signed up as a consultant, do they understand what their responsibility is?
No, I have not.
Okay, so then would it be fair to say that they don't know what their responsibility is?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, this is us having fun, right? There's no picking here.
Yeah, no. And in fact, that's an interesting question, because she actually, I hope I didn't convince her out of my own personal needs, because in the end, I would have been better off if she'd have just been a customer and bought all the stuff.
Right, because you got the retail profit.
Right, but she's got family that she wants to get, and I said, you really should do this way, get it for the consultant price. I said, I understand you don't want to be a business partner, really, but you're buying for yourself, you're buying for your 2 kids. I really feel like it might be in your best interest to do this. Take a look at it and let me know.
So then what's another term for a glorified customer?
Consultant? No. I don't know.
Could it be that she has the opportunity to earn profit as a smart customer?
Smart customer. Yeah, I like that.
Right. So let her know that she's a smart customer. And if ever she wants to go outside of the family, you can teach her the benefits of being a business consultant. And
I have mentioned to her that because she's a landscaper, I said, come this winter, you may really be appreciative of having the opportunity to have a side gig and a little extra income, especially with both the kids away at college.
So does she hands-on doing the work, or is she the admin person?
No, she's the she's
So
the digger planter.
get her to
Yeah.
do a before and after picture. She needs to take a before picture before she uses the products.
Oh, good idea. Thank you.
You need to get her to take a picture of her hands, of her feet. She doesn't have to post it anywhere, but she needs to take a
Right.
picture of any place that is rough and tough and grumble and landscaper-ish,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Her skin has probably got some sun on it. She's probably got some wrinkles, maybe. So need to get a before and after picture and say, listen, for no other reason than if you ever decide you want to make an extra side income, not a side hustle, just some side income, pay for all of the maintenance on your equipment.
Right.
Right. I partnered with a company that'll pay for all of the maintenance on my landscaping equipment.
Excellent.
See, I'm not in your business, and I sold the new idea,
The idea.
right, of how it makes sense to her. But you always got to get, if you're using any skincare, this, that, or the other, her hair, what does she notice about her hair? Is there less hair in the drain? These are all things you got to sell them on the benefit, right? This is the qualify, clarify, qualify, create expectation. You're creating the expectation, right? You're activating the reticular activating system. This is my before and after, because the products, all of your products are so amazing. They're incremental growth that inside of a week, they're like, man, I feel better. You look better. But they don't have anything to reference. I didn't look that. How crappy could I have looked? You didn't look crappy. It's just your face is toner, your skin is tighter, your whatever it is, right? You're 6 inches taller. It's amazing, this stuff. Go ahead, Ruth.
So I sold, well, but I didn't sell anything to her. And she really wanted a grounding mat, and we have one, so she bought it. So I can't really take credit for that. However, I have somebody that wants to join tonight after we're done, because we have that alkaline water unit, and I loaned it to her for a week, and she texted back and said, okay, I've been talking to people about it and I want to join, but I don't know how to, I guess, teach her how to share it with people. I guess I feel like she's her own thing. She doesn't want to be told what to do.
No, just say, hey, listen, you've got your own story. Can I help you with your own story?
Okay.
What was going through your head? Did she call you or you called her?
She texted me.
She texted you. What was going through your head before you text me? There was a lot. Listen, I know that my thoughts are bigger than my texts. So when I text something, it's the succinct version of the whole conversation. What was going through your head that said, I got to text you? Right? You have to bring them back into this. You got to put them back on stage. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Rather than them sitting in the audience going, wow, what did you like when you were up there on stage? I wasn't on stage. Well, you are excited about getting started. And then all of a sudden it's because it's such a transition from who they are. And if it's a transition from who they are, their old identity says that's not who we are. But their old identity is also the one that was sick, ill, and not feeling good.
Mhm.
And you could ask the simple question, listen, I'm curious, is there anybody going to be disappointed that you're feeling better? I know everybody wants you to feel better. But I had a friend who got better and nobody knew how to talk to him. I couldn't sell him on the fact that I get better. We're in sales. We're not in education. We're in sales. We're in sales. We're in sales. You call it anything else, you're lying. We're in sales. Zig Ziglar's transference of enthusiasm. So what got you excited? What was it that you let her try?
The water unit.
Okay, the water unit. Who gets excited about water unit? Right? You know what I'm saying? So why do you think people get so excited about this? I know I'm excited about it. You're excited about it. Why do you think we're a little off the edge and we get excited about water?
Because we feel better. We notice the difference.
How long did you take you to notice the difference?
Mm. And I I totally agree with taking the before and after picture, because I have many friends that I can't tell them now that they look 10 years younger just because they're drinking my water. But I'm telling you, those wrinkles are gone. So, but I should have taken the picture before.
Always, 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 always. Listen, even if it's a financial product, if all of a sudden they make a trade, they're going to feel a little bit better. You get a check. How many of you remember your first check? My first check was $5.49. $5.49, and boy, I said, this might work. That was 22 years ago. August, we passed August. So that was 23 years ago. So there you go. Mr. Scott Schilling, 25 years, 20 plus years, 18 best-selling books, 25 million from the stage. Has, for those of you, anybody in the speaking world, anybody want to go into the speaking world of one of the greatest speaking trainers, John Childers, personal mentor of his. When you hear Scott say he cut checks to 18 or 19 mentors, how many mentors, Scott?
19.
19 mentors. John Childers was one of them, and he recently reached out to him and had another conversation. Jack Canfield, one of his mentors, Mark Victor Hansen. He was on stage with I want to say Steinbrenner, but it's not. Who's the other major? The general that was in a Schwarzkopf and
Colin
Powell, right? The Bushes, Barbara and George. Yep. So
before his hair leaked.
Scott has this incredible ability, and I asked him, and he said, "Come on, what am I doing? What am I doing? Let me put me in, coach. What am I doing?" I said, "You're going to just go talk about sales, and I'm going to sit here and eat apples. So you talk about sales, and why it's so important is that we have to understand we are in sales. Well, I'm a wellness consultant. You are in sales selling wellness. Get it through your beautiful thin skull of a huge brain. I don't want to say a thick head, but just you're in sales. I'm a professional salesperson. My daddy said a professional salesperson is somebody who sells what they need, not what they want. And I am never embarrassed to sell you what you need. I'm not here to sell you what you want. What you want is easy. I don't sell easy, if you've figured that out. Mr. Scott Schilling.
Well, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Greatly honored. And I actually want to take a step back, believe it or not. And it really is totally irrelevant if you're in a company with a product or doing anything like that. If you were never in a company and if you were never representing a product, you're still in sales. The reality is you're in sales every minute of every day. The chances are you just have never framed it that way up here. So let me share a thought with you. Have you ever been on a date? You made a sale. Have you ever put a kid to bed? You made a sale. Are you married or have you been? You're better at this than you think. That's a sale. The reality is selling is simply the transference of information. As Zig said, it's certainly the transference of enthusiasm. There's no doubt about that fact. But let's really dig down into the dirt with this thing, because I really want to demystify this for you. Sales is not a dirty word. It is your lifeblood if you frame it properly, because it is simply the transfer of information to another for their consideration. That's all it is the transfer of information for somebody else's consideration. So when you start to back it on down a little bit, again, the Webster's definition of sales is the exchange of a product, good, or service for an amount of money or its equivalent. Now, I've trained for 20 some years in the holistic disciplines, chiropractors and all sorts of wonderful people. And they go, I don't sell. And when they say that, I say, well, if you don't sell, you don't have a practice. You've got to sell. You've got to present what you're going to do with and for people. So I try to talk them off the ledge with the second part of that definition. It's the exchange of a product, good, or service because it makes my heart feel good. In other words, there's an exchange there of some kind of value. Now, my heart-centered selling definition is education through communication without manipulation. So really, sales is nothing more than educating people on the features, advantages, and benefits that your products, goods, and services have to offer to satisfy their needs, wants, and desires. That's 3 triads there, if you haven't noticed. It's nothing more than sharing the features, advantages, and benefits of your products, goods, and services that satisfy others' needs, wants, and desires. So now let's take it back another notch. I want to demystify this for you. The fact of the matter is, what is the world's oldest profession? Shame on some of you, because I know what you're thinking, but I'm going to suggest that until the agreement was secured, nothing was consummated. So therefore, sales is the world's oldest profession. So you should be a proud member of the world's oldest profession, because it's nothing more than 4 words: identify, problem, provide, solution. Isn't that why you want to know your DMP? Because you want to provide a solution based upon your purpose. So again, my life purpose statement, as an example, is to inspire and empower others to serve humanity through living their life's purpose in spirit, love, and joy. So your DMP and your life purpose statement really becomes a filter by which you make decisions. Again, do you understand being right? When Sean said, hey, join me on this journey, well, let me run it through my filter. To inspire and empower others to serve humanity, that's all of you. To live their purpose, to help you in spirit, closer to God than I've ever been, love my family, my friends, my acquaintances, more than I ever have, and joy. This brings joy. So it becomes a hell yes answer, because when you put it through the filter, it's on purpose. That's why DMP is so important, because that's your definite major purpose. My definite major purpose is to share messages of hope and inspiration, teach and train others to do the same, and build God's kingdom. Well, I'm sharing messages of hope and inspiration here. That's pretty good. Hopefully I'm teaching and training some things that you can grab onto, that you can take and utilize as you go along, and do it that way. And because of that, I truly believe I'm on mission with God, doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. So again, understand that people tend to get wrapped around the axle. They get overly excited about, oh, I'm not in sales. We're all in sales. If you have to change the name of it, change the name of it up here. Call it, I'm in the presentation business. I present solutions that solve people's problems. Well, it sounds like you're in sales. Oh, no, I'm in the presentation business. That's why companies try to get you to go, oh, you're not in sales, you're just sharing. Well, what are you sharing? You're sharing a presentation. Anytime you're presenting something, that's a possibility of a sale because you're presenting a concept, a thought, an impression, a potential answer, a solution for somebody else's consideration. But what happens is when you demystify all this, you just go, ah. I mean, somebody says, you're just a sales guy. And I said, I'm not just a sales guy. I'm a really good one. It's something to be proud of. Don't back away from it. I had somebody in a major meeting, a major training go, oh my God, you could sell ice cubes to Eskimos. Anybody ever heard that expression? But here's the proper answer to that. Yes, I can, but only if it solves their problem. See, that's the proper answer to that, as opposed to, well, yeah, I can. See, because somebody's trying to throw a negative connotation to being a sales professional. And there's a difference between sales professionals and salespeople. I would encourage you to be a professional, because if you've made $1, guess what? You're a professional. So be a professional. But again, I would also encourage you, like I say, to demystify this. People make this way too hard. And so, you know, like Ruth just said, well, I don't know how to get her to do whatever. You know how you get her to do whatever? Is you don't try to convince her to do whatever. You ask her, well, now that you've experienced this, is there anybody else that you'd like to experience it as well? Well, if you ever want to do that, now that you're a smart customer, you could take it to the next level to solve their problem for them. How would that feel? How much selling did I just do? How much convincing did I just do? None. All I did is I walked them where they ultimately want to go. And that's if you think of sales and presentation as simply walking the path that they want to go to anyway. But Scott, how do I know what path they want to go to? Ready? This is a writer downer. You ask them. It's no more complicated than that. If somebody chooses to buy your product as a customer, you thank them, but you really say the exact same thing. Now that you've become a customer, is there anyone else that you feel could achieve the exact same benefits that excited you about this? It's called getting a referral. But if they become a smart customer where they do it as a rep or an associate or distributor, whatever the title is within the organization you're in, now they become a smart customer and they ever want to turn on that next little bit, the way to do that is, just as Sean was suggesting, you know, if there is ever a time where you'd like to solve somebody else's problem and make a little side income because you're a smart customer, you now have that ability. Now, I would encourage you, word choice is huge. Anytime this thing opens right here, be careful what you say, because what comes out of it can be deadly. Meaning, it can either encourage you being able to secure an order. Notice I didn't say close a sale. I said secure an order, open a relationship. Why do you want to close something? Don't you want to open things? Word choice. So thank you.
bonus.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to open this relationship in such a wonderful way with you getting the benefits that you've already experienced by borrowing the machine. Now you have your own. Congratulations. The other word that I would remove out of your vocabulary, and Sean did this earlier, but I really wonder how many of you noticed it. And that's not I'm not being judgmental. I just wonder how many of you noticed it, because word choice is so critical. Would you prefer to get side income, or would you rather apply effort for a side hustle? Which one would you prefer? Side income. But see, what happens is, because society says, these are the words we say, we get caught in the words, but we don't do two things. We don't think about how we can differentiate ourselves as a professional, right? We don't think of ourselves as a professional, so we follow what other people say, and we don't differentiate from everybody else who's out there. So how do you, I'm not clapping at my own material. There's a mosquito that just flew by, sorry. And, you know, I'm not going to get puffy knuckles like Sean. I'm sorry, not going to happen. So again, word choice becomes critical for a couple things. Number one, it shows you're a professional. Number two, it differentiates you from the rest. Hey, you want to join me in my side hustle? Yeah, that sounds like work. Hey, you want to join me in some side income? What? Do you understand just the difference in those two words, just the difference in that? Now, I think this audience is old enough that I can use this. If you don't think word choice is critical, I'm going to try one. Ready? Tell me if there's a difference between what I say here. Sex education and sex training. Is there a difference? Do you understand? Do you understand that the word choice becomes very critical? So how do you differentiate yourself, right? One of the things that I share a lot of times, you know, with this word choice thing is like, let's say that I'm going to a place and I open the door and somebody walks in ahead of me and they typically say, thank you. What's the response to thank you? Most people will say, you're welcome. In fact, probably 99% of the planet will say you're welcome. Is it appropriate to say that? Sure it is, but it doesn't differentiate you. And Danny's heard this before, but I'll say it's an honor or it's my pleasure. And invariably, you will, especially in, I am not picking on the younger generations, sort of, but you'll hear this a lot. Thank you. No problem. Where did the problem exist? There was no problem until you said no problem. Then you implied there was a problem that they didn't create. That's how little words differentiate you. And it makes such a difference. So again, are you the, in the sales realm, are you the only rep in your company? I'm guessing not. Are you the only rep selling the product assortment you have? I'm guessing not. Are you the only rep that's working to encourage people to take advantage of those products or come into the company? I'm guessing not. Well, if that's the case, why follow you versus somebody else? Differentiation. Could be quiet confidence. It could be knowledge. People buy from those they believe to be the authority. Whether you are the authority or not is not even relevant. It's whether they believe you are. Now, ultimately, you want to be the authority. You gain far more respect knowing your competitor's product or other competitors' product than you'll ever gain on your own. Why? This is a common sense answer, gang. Because people should expect you to know your product inside and out. They do not necessarily expect you to know the other person's product inside and out. So when you do, you become the authority, but the other thing that you become is a student of the industry. The one thing that Sean does so well is he is a student of the industry. He has studied the various brain trainings and the various things that give him the right to be called authority. But that gives him then the confidence to be able to share with people. Well, confidence is a sales tool. Arrogance is a sales detractor. So you want to have a quiet confidence and not an arrogance. You want to come from a place of humility. How might you do that? Well, quite frankly, Diane, I don't know whether this will work for you or not. But then again, neither do you until you try it. So my encouragement was is the same to you as what the first person that I bought this product from was to me. Try the product. Understand how it works within your body, on your skin, within your system. And when you love it, notice what I just said there. And when you love it, come back for more. See, it's the subtle little things that you're dropping the breadcrumbs. And I know some of you have heard this before from me. I don't ever want to sell you anything. I always want you to buy a lot from me. Why? Because if I sell you something, you're going to look for every expectation that I set. And as soon as an expectation is missed, you're going to go, see, I knew it was too good to be true. And officially it's called, you'll spit the bit. You won't buy anymore. You'll give up on the sale. But see, if I create an environment for you to want the solution I'm offering, and you make the decision to make that purchase, you will never get mad at you. That doesn't happen because you made the decision. And all I have to really do is create the environment as to why that's a great decision. And this is something I'm pretty sure I've never said to this group. What we want to do is we want to put people in the after state of already having made the purchase. That's what we really strive to do. In other words, you want to put them in a state. Sean does an excellent job of talking about state all the time. Well, this is the state after they've already made the purchase. So imagine what it will be like when you have this water available to you on a daily basis. I'm putting them in the fact that they've already bought the machine. Think how smooth your skin will be. think how wonderful your body will be as you flush those toxins, because they naturally get released. You're putting them in the after state. So again, it's people don't buy what it is. People buy what it does. And specifically, people buy what it does for them. So when people look at me and say, Scott, you could sell ice cubes to Eskimos, you could get all puffy and go, well, yes, I could, because I'm such an authority on sales. And then you'd go, he's a pompous ass, Sean, why do you have him here? Or I could say, well, I appreciate the compliment, but the good news is I would only sell ice cubes to Eskimos if in fact it solved their problem. See, what that just conveyed is some integrity in the process. And that's why we can want for others 100%. We can want, our want can want people to take advantage of our offering because we know what it could do for them. Let me ask you a question. How many of you had parents? Did they ever say, do this because I say so, because it's good for you? How'd that feel? Did you like it? Did you respond to it? Let me give you the network marketing version of that. You need to be a rep too, because I know what it can do for you. Stop being your parents. Stop it. You didn't like it. They don't like it either. Your parents didn't even like it. The reality is, if you want somebody to take advantage of the benefits that your offerings deliver, inform them of the benefits for them. The benefit of being involved in this course is you're going to come through it with greater focus. You're going to come through it in a way that now is going to allow you to speak with greater confidence. You're going to have a North Star to be able to go to, and that North Star is yours. It's not Sean's, it's not mine's, it's not Ruth, it's not Danny's. It's yours, Louise. It's your North Star. And I am now doing things because that's the direction I want to be going. And I feel called to go. You understand? It's a totally different level of confidence when you do something like that. And confidence is part of the sales process. So there's a lot of different things that come along here. When Sean said, what do you want to talk about? Or what do you hear all the time? I mean, I hear stuff. I hear crazy stuff all day long. I mean, it's whacked out. Well, I just can't get them to listen to me. Have you ever asked what would help him listen to you? You really ask those questions? Yes. You know, we're in the midst of a deal with 800 and some thousand customers. I got to the founder level and somebody said, how'd you do it? I ask a very simple question. If I came across something that could serve you and your 800,000 customers, would you be interested in seeing it? He said yes. So I followed up with a very difficult question. What is the best way to get you to see it? He said, boy, if you could make me a quick video that just kind of walks me through it and email it to me, that'd be great. I said, thank you very much. Expect it tomorrow. And within 2 days, he went back and said, this is really cool. We need to integrate this. And I said, you know what? I agree with you. That's what I saw too. So what are our next steps? I didn't try to sell him anymore. He sold. See, now you notice I haven't talked about the product at all. It's not about that. How could I serve him and his constituents? You know, you've got friends or sheep, you know, whatever. But you've got friends that you can ask. You can observe what's going on in their world, right? And you can say, hey, you know, Diane, you're such a great friend. And please hear my heart here. Now, that's something I say a lot of. Hear my heart. Now, by the way, you better be very integrous with that. You better truly be coming from your heart, not saying you're coming from your heart. But I'll say, Diane, hear my heart here. You know, I've noticed, you know, you're a little stiff. You know, you seem to be a little achy. And from what I know about, we're not supposed to be like that. But I found something that's worked for me when I was like that. And with your permission, I sure would be willing to share it with you if you're willing to hear it. And if she says no, guess what? Great. Know that I'm always here for you whenever you are willing to hear it. And if she said, yeah, then you share it. Now, you understand all these things I'm saying are applicable to each one of you across how many different companies, across how many different products? Because we're in, and I know you've heard me say this before, but again, sometimes you got to hear it 7 to 12 times. So I'm going to say it. We're all in the exact same business. It's the results business. We need to make sure we deliver results. You all would not continue to come to a Wednesday night call if you were not delivered results. You just wouldn't. It's about results. Now, each one of you represents something that delivers results. Well, guess what? It's the exact same in your marriage. It's the exact same in your relationship with your kids. It's with your friends. It's delivering results. I mean, in the last week or 2 weeks now, I have had a guy that I've spoken to. I still haven't spoken to him. I've texted him twice in 5 years. He gave me one coaching customer, one coaching client. And today I had a call with a company that wants me to be involved in a TV show they're doing and help them wrangle all the different things like that. And finally, tomorrow, for the first time in 5 years, we're going to have lunch together. And I might even buy him lunch. I might. I don't know. We'll see. But I bet you he doesn't let me buy him lunch. I bet you he buys me lunch. Very serious, or he'll make that offer. But I will buy the lunch. But the point is, when you when you present, when you sell with quality, when you become known as somebody who truly cares about their conversations. Do you understand? This is why it's so critical for everybody to, for everybody who chooses to. I'm not going to do the you should do this thing. There's nothing worse than getting should all over. I'm not going to should all over you. The fact is, I hope you choose to understand every conversation is a sales conversation, and you want to leave the other person better off for having that conversation. Because if you do that enough times over and over again, that's called developing a relationship. And once you have the relationship, then all of a sudden, when they come across something that you can solve for somebody, all of a sudden they'll call you. Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you think this person has just now, after 5 years, and I really would like to hear some answers to this. Why do you think after 5 years, this person has referred me twice in the last 2 weeks? What's the reason for referring me? You're muted. Danny?
Because you left an impact.
That is a true statement. That's not his core reason. But good answer. Good answer. That I've got results. Good answer. Very true. Trust me. Very true. These are all wonderful answers and very true. Not the one I'm looking for, though.
Consistently there.
Consistently there. Thank you, Doug. That is true. Not the answer I'm looking for, but it's a great answer. And it's absolutely true. What's that?
You care.
I care. Absolutely true. Again, not exactly the answer.
You solved the problem.
That is absolutely true. But again, not the answer I'm looking for. See, offered a solution. Very true, Diane. Not the answer I'm looking for. Would you like the answer?
Yes.
Well, geez, don't get impatient. It's because ultimately, by him referring me, it makes him look good. Because I'll solve the problem. Because I'll do all the things you said were absolutely correct. But it's because of all those, because he has that much trust, and because he knows it will make him look good. That's why people refer things. They refer others for two main reasons. Number one, because it makes them look good. But the other one is it confirms how smart they are. I bought this water machine. Aren't I smart? So I'm going to refer you to Ruth so you can buy one too, because that way you validate my smartness. Again, all your answers were absolutely correct. And
saying people are self-centered.
I did not say that, Sean. You said that. I did not say that. People want, again, this is, we can call it sales psychology, but it's actually psychology, period. The fact is, people want to hear themselves talk. People want to feel important. This is why it all happens in that same realm. So again, that's why I encourage you, please, if you want to do bigger deals with less effort at higher margins, let them walk themselves into it. Because if you're selling so hard, does anybody know what Aikido is? Aikido is a martial art where basically the better Aikido master uses the effort of the other person to control the situation, to control the body, to control the thumb. So they've got far less effort involved. If you put two people pushing each other, right, there's a lot of effort. But if I put my hand right here and I allow you to push, oh, you won. Sorry. See, if I allow them to go to solve their own problem, because they have to think of it that way anyway. Ultimately, they're if they buy for your reasons, they can also charge back the sale. They can spit the bit. They can be mad at you. They can tell you, oh, that networking marketing stuff is just a pyramid. Oh my God, who talked you into that crap?
It didn't work for me. So
It didn't work for me. How long did you work it? 6 days, and I'm not a gazillionaire. I don't have a silk suit and I don't have a Lamborghini. You know,
Scott, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. Who's got
Please.
some questions for Scott?
Listen, you have to cut that. Please.
what?
I am so turning that into a reel.
Please.
Oh my God. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Are you sure your fish didn't die along with it?
Might have.
Oh, this was brilliant. This was awesome.
Yes.
I'll come back. I'm processing. I'll
Please.
come back.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going.
No,
Let's have some questions. Let's do this.
Q&A. Got questions. Who needs a little confirmation? What's a takeaway? What's something you could implement? What's something you're going to act on? What was an aha? All of this is to help create the neural networks inside of that brain of yours.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead, Roz.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Just really quickly. I just love what you said, Scott, about not selling them, but them buying from, or was it vice versa?
No,
Like
that's,
you not,
that's right.
okay, not selling them something, but then they come to you to buy it. I love that. That was like an aha moment, because like you said, the minute it doesn't meet one of those expectations, it's like, well, you said it was going to do this and it didn't do that. So, I mean, that was just a nugget. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. I mean, in direct sales, especially. Well, I did this because you said I could make $500 a week. I didn't make $500 my first week. Who set that expectation? There have been people who have done that. Right. So, I mean, it's proper let them buy. That's great.
That was good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, I was just gonna say, the aha for me was when you said it wasn't about that you give them results, or that you basically are trustworthy. And what I was hearing, there were two things that happened. One, I was hearing each person give a response that was maybe what they would want with somebody. And I also, I loved that reminder that I had to take this, that basically that people, that you're making them look good.
Yep.
I gotta go.
Go ahead, Lori.
Yes, I loved put them in the state as if they've already made the purchase. Love that. And also leave the person better off for having had the conversation with you. That's excellent. So I am going to implement those immediately, if not sooner.
Awesome.
So thank you, Scott.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jane.
I had a lot of notes. I appreciate the first thing, the vocabulary. Always, and I wrote, always interact with grace and elegance and integrity and humility and kindness. And listen, people will tell you what they really need. And I loved when you said, "You're such a great friend. Please hear my heart here. I found something, whatever it is, and with your permission, I would be willing to share it with you."
Wonderful. Yeah, permission is a huge word. It's if you would simply ask some questions and say, based on what I've heard you say, some things have come to mind. Do I have your permission to share them with you? Because it differentiates you again. It's another one of those differentiators. Who asks for permission? It's the nice thing to do. By the way, Jane, there's a pretty good book. It might have 9 of those fruits. It might even come from the spirit. You never know. That could be a pretty good guide.
Love it. Hey, Mr. Bob Kane.
Hey there. So I love the part that you shared about putting people in the state of after they have already made the purchase, and the whole idea of, we strive to achieve anything. We want to be able to see and visualize us accomplishing that goal and reaching that mile mark there that we're after. And that's powerful. Great perspective, great goal. So thank you.
My pleasure. In fact, I think Sean would verify from the brain training side, when you say the word imagine, it automatically flips your brain into a creative picture-based. Imagine what you will feel like when. Imagine. And that is a big way to put them in the after state, typically very well. And it takes them from logical thinking to more creative, picture-based, feeling thinking. So
we're going to go
Excellent. Thank you.
We're going to go to Doug and Diane, but I want to share something. Can I share with you guys a mentorship moment, a training moment? This is yes, this is no. Y'all want, okay. Be aware that sometimes we will say things that need to be said by somebody else. You know how I know this? Because you have all heard the clarify, qualify, create expectation training. It is the same thing as the afterstate. You guys are all diving into the afterstate. It's why I have Scott here. Not because he's going to say what I've said. He says it in a way I haven't said, and you guys hear it differently. I'm okay with that. I'm more about you learning than me standing up and going, well, I said that to you 100 times before. But sometimes your prospects are going to hear you and they can't hear you. It's why you have to do 3 ways. This is the epitome of a 3-way.
Yeah, very true.
The afterstate, create expectation. So tell me, how's that going to feel as you begin to use that, sit in that? What is it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? Who's going to be jealous, right? How many of you have asked me the question, who's going to be jealous? That's the afterstate. Yet it's sinking in here, and I'm good with that. The reason I want you to be aware of that is that it would be wise for you to ensure your customers, your team members, truth is truth. They hear it in a way that it goes, I get it. Scott's a genius. I know he is. It's why I call him my friend.
Which is why you're a genius.
Exactly. Because he makes me look good, right? Doesn't he make me look good? He's brilliant, but he makes me look good because I can go, Scott, I need you on a call. Great. How do you know him? We have a lot of stories. But the mentor moment, the mentorship conversation is, now that I've said, who's going to be jealous? Clarify, qualify, create expectation. You're like, oh, you have said that in the past. But I don't know. Maybe it was different tonight. Maybe I was in a different place. I don't care what it was. You got it. And so be okay with them hearing it from another place. How many of you ever wanted to go over to a friend's house and you asked your mom and your mom, or you asked your dad and your dad said, ask your mom? I want you to hear that because you're living it in the moment going, oh, yeah, but you say it different than Scott said it different. I know he did. That's why he's here, is to say good things in a new way so you can hear it. Sometimes our prospects, right? We got to get out of their ears and into their eyes. We got to give them something new to look at. Scott's the new sexy, right? Scott's the new sexy on the screen. Brilliant years of experience. But does that make sense? Do y'all hear that? Do y'all grasp that? Because it would be real easy for.
Yes, and
Go ahead.
John, it's important to know that your willingness, openness, love, that things are being picked up from Scott and what he's saying. And it doesn't matter that you've said some more things, but what he's saying is connecting to so many. That caring and loving from you and being happy with that and happy for us with that is important. And I thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And I
agree. And Bob, I totally agree. And I wouldn't be here if he wasn't that way. And although you haven't had as much from me, it would be the exact same way. That's actually why we get along so well. Because our heart's desire is for you all to gain as much as you possibly can.
And too many people have their own ego in the way, and they've got to feel that they were the ones that did it. And when you really do care about people, you want is for them to get it, and it doesn't matter how, and it doesn't matter who gets that credit, and that's important.
Exactly. Well said.
And that's what my daddy always said, Bob. You just said it. Any job can get done if it doesn't matter who gets the credit. We got things to do and people to serve and smiles to have. So love it, love it, love it. Thank you, thank you. Mr. Doug Stahl, go ahead, sir. Mr. Doug.
I'm going to ask a weird question, which is
Shocker.
typical of me. Yeah,
we'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. As you go through the entire process, from just getting to know the individual and asking the questions, listening for the answers so that they're telling you, giving you guidance as to what their actual needs are versus what your wants for them to be. How much of the, rather than being transactional in your dealings with individuals and instead making sure that you're truly transformational so that they're not only buying from you on a repetitive basis, they're literally wanting to bring everybody in, as you said, because look how much better he can make me look because I'm smart. He's provided me all this, and they're literally transformed. They are your biggest advocate. They become your apostle, so to speak, of doing that. At what point is the DMP empowered with regard to both listening and asking the right questions? How do we get the proper skill set so that we can paint pictures, we can give them, based on their discussion, the way that the end result will work for them?
Fabulous question, by the way. And the foundation of it all becomes the DMP, quite frankly. And here's why. And this may not be the answer you expect, or it may not be the answer you expected, quite frankly. The DMP becomes so important because what the DMP does is gives you that inner guidance and that inner quiet confidence. You've heard me say that a few times tonight, right? You have this quiet confidence that you are there to solve their problem or to solve problems in general. Okay. I have said to clients, I have said to prospective clients, I have said to people many a time, if you can find someone who cares more and will work harder for you to succeed than me, God bless you. Go get them. But that's not an arrogance. You've also heard you've also heard people say, well, if you don't do it my style, go get somebody else. That's arrogance. Right? But it comes from the DMP. It comes from, I know my purpose. My purpose is to share messages of hope and inspiration, to teach and train others to do the same, to build the kingdom, to grow people, to solve problems. So when you ask, so many people are so set, you start talking, it's like, gosh, I can't wait till he ends this question because boy, I got the answer for this one. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. And you notice I just sat there and went, roll, Doug, go. Because it's not about me. It's about serving you with the answer. Well, it's the exact same thing when you're doing it from but again, foundationally, where that comes from is from your DMP. That's why this work is so important. Because when you understand that, it truly improves your life. Notice I didn't use the word change. It's one of those words I don't use. People resist change. They love improvement. This work will improve your life. When you get it down in your soul, this is a strategic, relational, heartfelt, mission-based. I mean, I don't know how many different words you want to use for it, but it sits right here. It's not here. Yeah, the knowledge and that stuff's here, but it's not spouting the tactical, the blah, blah, blah. It's the, Doug, God, you're talented. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And how can I help you accomplish it? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those. I did a call with a woman today, and I was at a, yes, Danny, 6. My number is 6. No, actually, my number is 8. Sorry. Kidding. I did a call with a woman today because I met her at an event last week. She's done 140 podcasts. She's done all this stuff. And the only thing she did on stage is cry. Not the only thing, but one of the things she did on stage is cry because she's a financial planner and she saw her sister, her mom, her brother all die without financial plans in place and destroy 3 families. And so she got so emotional on stage with it. She was just crying. And so afterwards at a reception, I took her aside and I said, can I serve you? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, you said that you have a product you want to develop. You said that you want to help more people. You want to do all this. Would you like to talk about it? And she goes, you would talk to me about this? And I go, absolutely. And so I gave her my calendar link. Today happened to be the day. We were 48 minutes into a 30-minute call. And she said, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. She said, "Why are you taking this time with me?" And I said, "Because you've got a mission that God has put on your heart. And I'd be remiss if I didn't do my job to serve you." She said, "Scott, I can't afford your fees." I said, "Have we had a single conversation about fees?" She said, "No, that's what shocks me." And I said, "We'll figure that stuff out whenever we figure that stuff out. The first thing we need to do is help you get your message out there. And if we sell some product because of it, and you, well, I've got an affiliate program, cool, then that's what we'll do." She said, "You mean you would do that?" I said, "I'd be honored to do that." I should not, I don't share that because, I don't share that for any other reason, that it's fully in my purpose. And she's sitting there crying today going, "My God, all I've ever wanted is somebody to listen to me." And I said, "Don't worry about that. You got me." And it's just, that's the reason I'm joined up with Sean on this, is I know how important his work is. I really do. And if I can do this much to help push it across the line, I'm good. And so, Doug, what you ask is a brilliant question. It's when you get this DMP so deep in your soul, quite frankly, I forget to make money from time to time, which is a little problematic. I am a recovering forgetter. Okay. I've changed that model. But at the same time, isn't it amazing how God has delivered me some mega deals that will fund my ability? When people say, when you go speak, how much are you? I'm $25,000 an hour. You're going to a college. We don't have $25,000. I said, the good news is I got a 95% scholarship for colleges. Do you have $1,000? They say, yes, perfect, I'm in. People say, why do you charge $25,000? So that when I don't want to, I don't have to. It's the same thing for Sean. It's no different. Why do you do what you do? You do it because it's down here. This work gets down and embedded. And it's 4 stages, little teaching moment. Unconscious, incompetent, conscious incompetent, conscious competent, unconscious competent. Unconscious incompetent means you don't know that you don't know. Conscious competent is you know that you don't know. Conscious competent means you know that you know. Unconscious competent means you know so well you don't even have to think about knowing. You just let it rip. When you bury your DMP down here, that becomes unconscious competent. Now you've got to come back and train from conscious competent. But when you live, hopefully a lot of the time with this DMP, you live from unconscious competent. Kind of a long answer. Did I answer your question?
No, that was a brilliant answer, and I thank you for it, because it takes, you almost walk through a lot of the consulting and all the stuff that I've had in my past, to being lazy, to moving forward, to being even more impactful. So thank you.
My pleasure.
I love it. Hey, Scotty, people are going to be asking.
That's cool, yeah. So listen, I was wondering, can I have your number? Can I have your number?
I
No,
wonder who
I don't
that
give
is.
out my number in theaters.
So could you put your number down? And so would it be okay if people called you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. He's going to type it in the chat.
I got to figure out where the chat is on this platform. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I don't use this often.
Yeah, I am. Blah, 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 blah.
There it is.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's Mr. Scott Schilling's phone number. Please use it. I don't want to say use it sparingly. Use it with, ask him some tough questions. He lives in Texas, so the weather's hot or it's rainy, but it's probably not cold. So it's going to be hot or rainy, probably more hot. And don't talk about the weather. Say,
Yeah,
I got
if you want, I mean, especially if I don't have your number, text me. I mean, here's the way I do it. Sean, Scott Schilling here. I've got a question. You know, if let's say I didn't have Sean's, you know, I mean, if Sean didn't know my number coming to him, that's the way I put the message in. So just say, Bob Kane here, got a quick question for you. Now I can save your name and number into my phone, because I get all these texts without names to them, and it's like, hey, you're in my address book. Do we know each other? And I'm pretty sure I don't know, nor do I want to know that person. So at least that's my fantasy. Okay. That's
I was wondering, can I have your number? Can I have your number?
so there you go.
Diane, did you have a question? You had one. Your hand went down.
Well, you explained it so well that I
Oh,
didn't have a question anymore. But what I really liked was how you described how to differentiate yourself. And how, you know, you make them see that you're an authority. So yeah, thank you.
great. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's the DMP Wednesday night combo, all about sales. And again, this is recorded. It'll be up in the chat
Do we
room.
want to give them a gift?
Oh, hey, real quick question. Anybody travel? Listen, it's to save you a little money and then possibly save you a lot more money. Scott, this is the neat thing about the things that we get to do with Scott. Scott, real quick, what is it?
Basically free access to a wholesale travel platform. So you'll save money on hotels and a variety of different things. Now there is a upgraded version of it. If you choose to do that, then it saves even more money and gives you even more access, but that's totally by choice. At the very least, it's free wholesale access. You can simply go to cometravellike.me/TAC. I'll put it in the chat. That would have made more sense. HTT. Well, I don't even know what that is. cometravellike.me/TAC. So feel free. If you want to use it, do it. If you want to share it with people, it's one of the things that I do to provide benefit to people for, I found out, Sean, you and I haven't talked about it, but I'm part of a new book coming out. It'll be out in 2 to 3 weeks. And yesterday on Kindle, we hit #1 new release called Second Chances, Surviving to Thriving. And it's my near-death story is in it, but there's 22 others that make me look like I had no issues whatsoever. I mean, my God, there are some amazing stories. So what I've done is I'm giving everybody wholesale travel if they get the book. So that's what you do. Again, over deliver, you know. So I asked Sean if he wanted to offer it to all you and be our guest. That's from Sean and I.
I love it. And again, it's not to replace anything else that you're currently doing that you love. It's the value add. It's just little feathers and little things in the buckets, little trinkets, little ways to say thank you. So, all right, my eagles. I love you bunches. I appreciate you also very, 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 very much. Scott, any last words, brother?
No, I'm really honored to be doing this with you and with everybody in the group. It's an honor to be able to, because it allows me to live my purpose and it fills my soul. I love when I see your eyes light up and Danny go like this. So if I can just get that every time, I'm a winner. No, but it just is it's it fills my soul when it serves you guys very seriously, and I'm just honored. So thank you much. Let me know how I can be of service. That's what it comes down to.
His number, give him a call. And can I get your number? Can I get your number? So I love you bunches. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you all in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And thank you. And congratulations on taking steps to take care of you, because when you take care of you, the world benefits. I love you tons. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all in the morning. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit, along with Mr. Scott Schilling. We'll see you all where?
At the next event.
Thanks all.
All
Love
right.
you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have a great evening.
Awesome.